Okay, good afternoon. First thing I always do is to make it a habit to ask people not to call me by my family name, because your family name is C, don't people call you C. If you're Chinese, you realize C means die, so you call me one time, I will still be alive. You call me 2-3 times, I might die right in front of you. So don't call me C, just call me KC. Now KC in Chinese means pretend to die, so okay. I'm going to ask a quick question. I'm going to talk about passive and passive income. So how many of you are here because you're interested to learn how to make some passive income? Alright, how many of you are here because you want to find some more passion in your life? How many of you still don't want to pull out your hands no matter what I ask you? Yeah. Now I'll let you know I'm not a lecturer. I'm not here to lecture you. I'm just a person with some business experience. So I'm going to share some experience with you. And it's very important when I speak to you, I get some response from you. So can I get some response from you? You call that response? Can I get some response? It's more like it. Now I'm so excited to be here. I mean, I've been speaking for 30 years now, and never been a track talk, but this is the first time. I'm only given 18 minutes, so I'm going to run very, very fast, and if I speak too fast, please slow me down. I'm very excited to be here because when I was young, which was not very long ago, say yes. I always want to go and visit universities because I've never been in university. I'm not a university grad, so I'm always excited when I come to university. Today, I feel so much younger because I'm in a university. So I'm very excited to speak to you. And I'm here to talk about passive and passive income. Now, I've been doing this for quite a long time now, and for the last 20 years, one of the areas that I went into is to go around the world and talk about the whole concept of financial literacy and also multiple sources of income. And I've done it in something like 14 different cities throughout Asia. Furthest north I've done is in a city called Shenyang, somewhere north of China. And the furthest south I've done is in Auckland, New Zealand. So this presentation I make has traveled a lot of places. In every city that I do, I always conduct a survey. Conduct what? Survey. And I will make a statement, and then I'll ask my audience whether they agree or don't agree. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a statement, and you tell me whether you agree or don't agree. Is that okay? Yes. I want to say to you that 50%, how many percent? 50%. Of people that go to work every day actually wish they are doing something else. Do you agree?
Agree.
Can't hear you. Do you agree?
Yes.
I want to report to you that every city I go to, no less than 3/4 of the people in every audience that I have will agree that half the working population that go to work every day actually wish they are doing something else. Now, if you agree with that, do you realize the implication of what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you realize that? That means half the working population actually don't really want to go to work. Say or not say?
Yes.
Now, why wouldn't they want to go to work? Because a lot of people don't really like their
Job.
Alright, they don't really like their job, and that's okay. But there are some people that don't even like the boss. But unfortunately, they wake up in the morning and they don't have a choice. So they have to go to work, right? So why is that happening? Why is it that we have this situation where people go to work every day, doing something they don't really enjoy, and yet they go to work and spend 8 hours a day doing something that may not be so meaningful, doing something that they don't find fulfillment in it, but they go to work? Why do they do that? Well, I guess the reason is they have no what? Choice. No what? Now, if you're not doing what you really want to do, then you're not living a full life. Agree? You're not really living the life that you want. Unfortunately, a lot of people in jobs are in that situation. And I question this. I ask this question. Why do people go to work every day and not live the kind of life that they once lived? And if you have and I ask people this, how many lives do you have? Can't hear you. How many lives do you have? One. Unless you're a cat, right? If you have only one life, shouldn't you live your life, spend the rest of your life doing what you really want to do? Yes, no? Yes. But when you ask people why don't they do that, the answer is what again? They have no choice. Now here I want to say something to you. You know, we are human beings, right? You better say yes. And human beings have the faculty to make what? Decisions, right? We have the faculty to make decisions. Animals don't make decisions. Animals react by instinct. Agree or disagree? So if you're a human being and you say you have no choice, you've just downgraded yourself into a... I didn't say, you said that. So how can anybody say that they have no choice? Which is terrible. Of course you have a choice. So when I question this whole idea that people will spend their time doing a job or in a profession or business they don't really enjoy, people are so easy to come up with the answer that they have no choice. And sometimes they come up with a whole spattering of all kinds of reasons. No time, no money, no opportunity, no this, no that. Sounds like what? Excuses. And people will go through life making all kinds of excuses. I want to suggest to you that you do have a choice. Maybe you're in the situation that you need that income. You need that income, and therefore you can't afford to go and try something else to do the things you love to do, which is important. Agree, disagree? Yeah. So I reckon that the reason why most people will say that they have no choice is simply because most people have only one income source. Agree? Most people have only one income source. Now, why is it that most people have one income source? Because you go to school, get an education, go to university, come out with a degree, go out there and get a job. How many jobs? One. And when you get one job, what the boss asks you to do? Focus on your, don't look left and don't look, just focus on your job. And you ended up with a single income source. True, not true? And then you go and listen to a speaker like me, and then you think you should have multiple sources of, but that's a dream, you know, it's not going to happen. So the challenge that people have is they want to have more choices in life, but their financial situation does not allow them to, because they have only one income source. Agree? And I want to suggest that is not necessarily the case. You can choose to do something different. And this is why I've been speaking for the last 20 years. All right? Now, I started, I'm just going to give you a little bit of my background. I started I started very young. I started, left school, and 19 years old, and I got my first job when I was 19 years old. I started as a sales promoter. Do you know a sales promoter? Yes. I stand in petrol station and sell car polish, you know? When a car drives in, you go to the petrol station and you say, "Sir, would you like to get a bottle of car polish?" Anybody have that experience? That's me, huh? So that's my first job. My first job is selling car polish in petrol station. And one day, one of the petrol station owner told me, "You stop selling car polish." I say, "Why?" He said, "I want you to start a business." I say, "What business?" He said, "You start a car wash. I give you the place, I give you the material, you do all the work, we share 50-50. He's very smart. I do all the work and he takes 50%. So I started my first business when I was 19 years old. Say what? Say what? Okay. And I couldn't do all the washing and the polishing on myself, so I had to employ 2 boys. In other words, I became a boss at 19 years old. Say what? Right. And I wake up one morning, and after doing that, I was making money, you know, and there was not a lot of car wash those days, and I was making money. But I came to the realization that I'm not going to be a car wash boy for the rest of my life. And I want to do something. I really want to go out there, and I don't know what I want to do. All I know I want to do is I want to go and start some business, but I don't know what business. So I make some money, and I thought I should go back to school. And obviously I can't go to university. So I decided that the easiest thing to go and attend classes to study accounts, and became an accountant. Would you believe it? Now, I didn't become an accountant because I want to be an accountant. I didn't be an accountant because I want to learn business. Am I clear? Yeah. So I was doing something pretty tough called ACCA. Everybody know that? Yeah. That's a very tough thing. And I have a classmate who stood in front of class and tell the whole class, if Casey can pass, all of us can pass. Oh, jeez. Because I wasn't studying very much. I spent most of my time chasing girls. That's right. So anyway, I passed all. Miraculously. So I left, became an accountant. I joined a firm called Ernst & Young. I worked very, very hard. And I became an accountant at a young age. By the time I was 26, I was already an accountant. By 29, I was finance manager for a group of companies. And then I decided I still haven't found what I really want to do. And then, at that time, I got very interested in learning. And I was very eager to learn. I really want to learn. I was absorbing things like crazy. I was attending every seminars that I could get my hands on. And somebody told me this interesting thing. The best way to learn is to teach. Best way to learn is to teach. And I thought it was really interesting. So at 29 years old, I decided I want to go back to business. So I left, I would quit my job. People think I'm mad. And I started a training company 33 years ago. With no prior experience, no experience, I just jumped into it simply because I have a passion to learn. Passion to learn. I went into that, and it was tough. I just went through the difficulty, struggled a lot in 10 years. So from 1984 to 1994, it was up and down. I was going through all kinds of stuff. I was doing a lot of things. I was very ambitious. I was very young. Don't look at me now, I was young before. And I want to do a lot of things. I mean, you're young, you want to do a lot of things. And a lot of failures, a lot of mistakes. But in 1994, 10 years after I started, I was struggling. And I really love training, speaking, and coaching. But when you are struggling and you're trying to create an income and feed a family and keep a business going, and I found that it was my passion. Speaking, training, and coaching was my passion. But when your passion becomes your only income, it becomes a job. Are you getting my point? Yes. When you're desperately trying to make money, and even though you're doing what you love to do, it no longer sounds like fun, you know. So it was challenging at that time. I know I was on the right path. I know this is my calling. This is what I want to do. But I'm just not doing it right. But in 1994, I met a man who came over this part of the world, and he wanted to have a seminar organized locally, and I was asked to help him. So I was supporting him, and he was teaching one very interesting area. He was teaching people how to make money. And at that time, in 1994, there's no such seminar. Nobody talks about how to make money. And he came over from the States, and some of you might know who I'm talking about. His name is Robert Kiyosaki. Now, how many of you have come across the name Robert Kiyosaki? So anyway, I just run through some of this right because time is not permission. This is not working very well, yeah? Okay, that's Robert. So Robert wrote a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I met him before he wrote the book. And I learned a lot from him. And when I met him, he has not written a book yet. So later on, he read the book, Rich Dad. How many of you came across the book? How many of you read the book? How many of you buy the book but never read? If you turn to the acknowledgement page, the what page? You can find my name there. Now you're supposed to say wow, say wow. So I was one of the earliest students of Robert, and Robert taught me a lot about money. And one of the things I learned from him is the idea that you have to create multiple sources of income. You cannot afford to have only one income. And very importantly is you must have what we call passive income. What kind of income? Passive. What is passive income? Passive income, the income that comes to you whether you go to work or you don't go to work. I call that your money making what? Machine. Like what? Like stock investment, property investment, internet business, anything that you put some time, some effort, and some resources, and you build it one time, and that income can come to you and feed you possibly for the rest of your life. Now, why do you need a passive income? You need passive income because so that you can free yourself of the time to do the things you love. Does that make sense to you? If you have passive income, then you cannot say, I wake up in the morning and I don't have a choice. But if you have passive income, you can wake up in the morning and you have lots of choices. Does that make sense to you? Yes. And if you have that choices, your life will change. A lot of people could go into this simply because they have only one income source, and their single income source is what they rely on. But if you have multiple sources of income, and especially passive income, then it frees you. You basically buy back your freedom. You buy back your time. The other thing is when you have passive income, you can start moving towards doing the things you love. Does it make sense to you? Start moving towards doing the things you love. And finally, a very important part of having a passive income is if you are a single income source owner, you have only one income source, remember this, that income can disappear. Today, job is not 100% secure. You may have a job today, you might not have it tomorrow. Agree or disagree? Yes. And if you only have one income and that job disappear, not only you will be in trouble, but people who depend on you financially will also have problems. Yes, no? So that is very so logical and so meaningful, and people need to explore this. Now, for me, it was a big change because when this happened to me, I was literally focusing my entire attention to training, speaking, and coaching, which is what I love to do, but I don't really have passive income. Now, I met him in 94, 95, and I took 2 years to really reorganize my entire financial situation. By 97, I have other income sources, and when I have other income sources, what I love to do, which is my passion, becomes a hobby. Do you get my point? It becomes a hobby. You can spend time doing it as in when you want to do it, and it doesn't sound like a job. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So this is very important to me. So number one, you need to explore the idea of having passive income, and there are multiple opportunities out there to do that. But very importantly also is you must know what your passion is. You must know what your passion is. And I found out that 32%, how many percent? 32% of people don't really know what they want to do. And if people don't really know what they want to do, people say this. People don't get what they want in life because in the first place, they don't know what they want. Agree? So finding your passion becomes very important. And if your passion also is creating income, well, that's even better. So if you have passive income on one hand and you have passion income on the other hand, you have what I call a very fulfilled life. Does it make sense to you? All right. So when I learned all this from Robert and put it into action for myself, life changed. And in 97, I decided that there's a lot I can do to help people. So I started a program called Money Mastery. And today, we have something like 12,000 members in this community. And they come from 20 different countries. And basically what I do is to help them put in place the roadmap that we talk about. Having passive income and having passion income. And therefore, they have a more fulfilled life. And I help them to make 5 decisions. How many? First decision is to decide to have multiple sources of income. The second decision is to start changing your mindset. And the third decision is to learn how to leverage. Learn how to? What does leverage mean? Leverage means to be able to get more with less. It's no longer about working harder, it's about working smarter. And the fourth decision is to start your own mastermind group. What group? Now, a mastermind group is a group of people that supports you and founded on the principle that if you give, you shall what? Receive. If you give, you shall. So I want you to imagine that you have 5, 6 person. Every time they meet, they focus on giving. And if everybody gives, who will receive? If everybody gives, who will receive? Everybody will receive. Agree? So it's a very powerful concept, but not often practiced well enough. And the final decision how people to make is to decide what their passion is and to redefine themselves and redirect themselves towards their passion. Exactly 18 minutes. Thank you.